What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So kind of a quick talk video here. I saw this while I was working on some other stuff, and it's a video cards article talking about the Zotac Zone Pro and the Acer Nitro Blaze, which we really haven't talked a lot about since the CES of January this year in 2025, and these devices haven't really popped up. So seeing this was pretty cool, and I want to take a look at this article and talk about these two handhelds real quick. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right, AMD Ryzen-powered Zotac Zone Pro and Acer Nitro Blaze misplanned launch window. And yeah, they definitely are very late at this point, as we are November 17th, 2025 at time of making this video. But Acer and Zotac both announced new handhelds for 2025 that still have not reached a normal retail launch. Acer's Nitro Blaze 8 and Nitro Blaze 11 were framed as Q2 products for North America and EMEA. And yeah, I was actually going to try to grab one of these, even though I thought they were a little bit ridiculous, especially the larger Blaze 11, because the hardware as well, and they hadn't really announced pricing. But yeah, we still don't know exactly what these would cost or if they're going to show up. While Zotac Zone Pro with Ryzen AI 9 HX 370 was targeting an October 2025 window, none of those dates have turned into broad availability so far, and I didn't even see anything about them announcing maybe a delay or anything like that. Acer unveiled the Nitro Blaze 8 and the Nitro Blaze 11 in early January 2025. Both were supposed to use Ryzen 7 8840HS APUs. The company's press material stated that both models would be available in North America and EMEA in Q2 of 2025, with Blaze 8 starting at, I guess I did have some pricing listed that I had missed, but anyway, Blaze 8 starting at €999 and Blaze 11 at €1119 to €1199. Can you imagine now, with the way things have kind of shifted in the market, you probably have to add a couple of $100 to that price. 10 months later, there are still no retail listings from major stores, and both handhelds are simply never released. Zotac's Ryzen AI 9 HX 370 handheld followed a similar path. The upgraded Zone was first shown in January 2025, then reintroduced at Computex and Gamescom as the Zotac Zone Pro with a 7-inch OLED screen, Manjaro Linux, and up to 32 gigabytes of LPDDR5X RAM. And they actually showed this with both a Windows version and a Linux version, which I thought was pretty interesting. But if I remember right, they never actually did talk much about pricing, but we did expect it to be over $1,000. And again, in the market now, where you're looking at the price of the Xbox Ally X without an OLED screen, being 7-inch, the Legion Go 2 and that type of thing, it would probably have to be much more expensive than that even. According to PC Games Hardware reports, Zotac told media it aimed to launch the Zone Pro in October 2025, but pricing and exact availability were left open. That window has passed without a general release, and we are being asked why the system hasn't launched on time. Of course, we have contacted both Acer and Zotac for an updated timeline on their products and have not received any response in over 24 hours. You know, this kind of reminds me too of the other Zotac Zone launch that we had, and by the time it had come out, like end of September into October, that hardware had already aged a bit too, and we already had other devices with the Legion Go and the Ally and everything, and it just kind of fizzled and didn't do great at launch, was a bit pricier, so people didn't really go for it. And everybody was kind of watching the Zone Pro to see what they would do with that and the HX hardware from AMD and that type of thing. And yeah, no pricing, no availability, nothing has shown up on that. Now, by the time they release that, with other handhelds like the Legion Go 2 and the Xbox Ally X, the MSI Claw A8, and others, how's it really going to do now, being later to the market? So yeah, it's kind of a tough one. I feel like they just can't quite get their launches right for Zotac. I feel like they really need to be on top of this a little bit more when it comes to getting these out the door in a more competitive time frame. I was hoping they would have been more like the 3 or 4 month ago launch of the MSI Claw A8. While it hasn't launched in the USA, did have its main launch and has kind of been spreading around. And I thought maybe they would shoot for something like that, kind of a pre-summer launch, or maybe in the beginning of summer to make up for their last handheld that was so late, but not the case. And then Acer with their Blaze, I always thought this was pretty interesting. I wasn't super happy about this. I actually like Acer. I've had a lot of their laptops and stuff, and always for more budget friendly, but I always had good luck with them. Always liked Acer just fine, and was waiting actually for them to get into the handheld scene because I assumed they would do it. And when they announced this, I was at first excited, but then I wasn't so much when they were getting into the hardware and that type of thing. And the pricing, I was just feeling like wasn't really in balance. Maybe they've kind of gone back to make some changes and that type of thing. It's hard to tell, but I haven't heard anything about these devices either. So for both Acer and Zotac, it looks like it might be a bit of a fizzle for them in 2025. Anyways, guys, that'll do it for this one. I just wanted to talk about that a little bit. I think these guys are a bit too late to the game, and if Acer was still going to use that other hardware up against what we have out now and what will be rolling out into next year and with Steam and all that, I just think these two devices would be in trouble, and maybe they should be making some changes before they come out, if they come out at all. But anyways, guys, thanks a lot for coming to check out the video. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one.